Hey, what's up? It's Gilbetta here, and today we're talking about Nightingale. If you don't know what Nightingale is, it is a new PvE open world survival crafting game played solo or with friends. It's set in a gas lamp fantasy world where you have magic and you build, craft, and fight and explore through mysterious portals into a whole bunch of different realms and worlds. Being a big fan of D&D, I'm always looking for games that give me that hit of feeling like I'm playing D&D or I'm in a D&D world. Nightingale gives me that feel. I recently got to play in the stress test for the game, and it has me very excited. Also, please remember, this footage is from a stress test. The final footage of the game may look a little bit different when it comes out. I know that there are some features that were blocked out and said they were going to release when the game fully releases. So there are going to be some additions and changes potentially when the game comes out, depending on feedback. So just keep that in mind. Let's dive in. Character creation. Character creation is a huge part of D&D and something many players will spend hours, days, and weeks on, and me at least. One of the things that stood out to me in Nightingale is choosing your ancestry. You have a choice of story or background options like academic, hermit, officer, vagrant. Sound familiar? This is a classic D&D character creation idea, and while I'm not sure yet how much it affects gameplay or character builds, it certainly gave me a sense of familiarity that made me feel right at home with character creation. The game goes so far as to provide a lineage tree. You can select all your parents, your grandparents, and your great-grandparents' models from a pre-selected list, and use it later to change how your character looks based on your chosen lineage. And then of course we have a standard character creator with a variety of hairstyles, skin tones, everything like that, allowing you to complete the look before choosing the difficulty level and starting the game. You can then choose your character loadout and then the starting realm difficulty separately, allowing you to really tailor your experience to how you prefer to play. You could perhaps be a nomad, you're decked out to the nines, you have all the starting equipment in the world, but you also start in a really hard realm. Or maybe you start with nothing, you don't have anything, but you're in an easier world. Or if you want to amp up the difficulty, you start with nothing and you start in a really hard realm. It's all up to you and how you want to tailor the game to your playstyle. Solo versus co-op. Give your D&D buddies a call and get them in your realm. Nightingale is a game that can be played solo or co-op, but being a PvE game, it will not pit players against each other and instead encourages them to play together. You can build fortresses, share resources, take out enemies together, and if one player crafts a portal, all of your friends can join in without having to craft the card for that. All this being said, the developers at Inflection have come forward and said that it is perfectly acceptable to play the game as a solo player, so if that's more your speed, you can do that too. Setting and lore. The game is set in a gas lamp fantasy world with steampunk and Victorian visuals where you travel through the Feywild trying to find your way back to Nightingale City. Without revealing too much, there was a cataclysmic event called the Pale, which rendered Nightingale City uninhabitable, and the realm walkers who escaped try to survive the Fey realms while hoping to one day return to Nightingale City. If that doesn't sound like the start of a good homebrew D&D game, I don't know what does. I've only played for a few hours during the stress test, and in that short time already found some amazing bits of lore. Not only that, but we're in the Fey realms. I have always wanted to find a game that explored the Feywild because it's such a wild, mystical place, and I'm so excited that we kind of get that feel from this game. And to top it off, you're guided through the game, at least in the beginning, by Puck.
I bid you welcome to the Feywilds in earnest.
Who is a known archfey that I have seen in so many homebrew and D&D games, and that alone is just awesome. Realm travel. In this Fey world, players travel between different realms, gathering resources and fighting Eldritch Horrors. More on that later. You can finally fully live out your Ranger Realm Walker dreams and travel between each of the realms. Now, in order to progress through the game, you will need materials and secrets from each of the various realms, but because you can manipulate the contents of the realm, realms, you can create endless possibilities of where to go, what to do, what to fight, what to gather. You can go to the same forest biome over and over, but one time it's raining, one time it's sunny, one time it's nighttime, daytime. You can create all of these different combinations with those. You can create the combinations with having more monsters in the realm, or you can just bombard it with resources that you can collect. How do you do this, you ask? How do you manipulate the contents of these portals? Well, it's with our next item, realm cards. While realm cards may not be as random as the roll of a dice, it does give that feeling of customization imbued with a bit of chance that us D&D players seem to crave so much. Realm cards are crafted in the game and then combined to create different worlds to travel to. You have biome cards to determine the nature of the realm you create, like forest, swampland, etc. You have major cards to determine what the realm contains, resources, hostile monsters, and then you have the minor cards. These affect the time of day, the season, the weather, things like that. So you can mix and match these to your heart's content to try out different things and see what all is out there in the world. You can also forego major and minor cards and just pick a biome and let chance truly win the day when creating your portals. So if you just want to go into a swamp biome and see what happens if you let it spawn naturally, you can do that. And for our next item, I want to touch on something that I briefly mentioned before, Eldritch Horrors. Eldritch Horrors and magic abound in this game. The enemies and creatures are very imaginative and creative and sometimes horrifying. I can only imagine this will become more and more true as the game goes on and we venture into different realms. Even in the short time that I played, I saw a variety of creatures. Some of the creatures that I have seen in this game look really cool, really scary, and like nothing that I've ever seen before anywhere. And I can only imagine that as we explore more realms and portals, that's going to continue to be the case with this game. Every D&D player knows that the Feywild in D&D is just filled with living nightmares and these powerful magical socialites that just love to tug on puppet strings. Now, I don't know how much of that there is going to be, the magic socialites thing, but we have Puck who might be into pulling some strings and doing things like that. So that leads me to believe that there may be some of that. But now on to our last point, magic. Last but not least, magic is important. We love magic in D&D. In this game, our adventurers have learned to do magic and use it in some interesting ways. Outside of using it like we talked about before to make the realm cards create portals, there are also various enchantments you can use. Weapons have magic enchantments you can apply to them, giving you certain buffs or abilities in combat. So far, I haven't played far enough into the game to know if you can switch these out to different weapons or if you can build upon these and create different ones. I don't know how deep this web runs. My speculation is that as you level up and progress throughout the game, you'll unlock more spells and abilities you can use, adding to your magic repertoire, but time's gonna tell. We'll see when the game comes out. I know I'm excited about Nightingale. I hope you are too. This game releases on February 20th, so if you haven't checked it out yet, please be sure to check it out and see if it's for you. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.